Hi, I'm Sara Licht, and I'm here with Lisa Murray, and we're hanging out today talking about business alchemy, just coming up very soon, or anytime that you wish to choose it. And it's about creating business in a non-traditional way. So I
Yes.
would,
So
yeah.
what are we going to talk about today, Sarah? What questions have you got about
Oh man,
this?
yeah. Okay, so I'm on the team. I've been like on the inside, seeing the inside of your mind and creating this and stuff, and it's really amazing. And a lot of things are coming up for me. Um, so, okay, where to start? Okay, so I'm going to describe where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And because when I've tapped in, like I did your radical creation call, it just totally blew my mind, like how you create so differently. And I was like, oh, it could be fun.
Yeah.
And
It can be.
yeah. So, well, maybe, let's see. Would you, maybe if you should start out and tell me generally what is business alchemy, and then I'll go into my
Yeah,
detailed
sure.
question.
So really I created Business Alchemy because I realized that I create from a really different space than most other people. And I create business from a really different space than most other people. Like, and this is funny because I've done this all my life and I didn't realize I was different. Like when I was 21, I was a marketing manager for a shopping center. And I got to this shopping center, like it was my second job out of uni. And I looked at the marketing plan and I was like, oh my God, this is awful. I'm not doing this. And I rang up the state marketing manager and I said, I can't really implement this. And she's like, well, why not? I'm like, well, it's shite, basically. It's not very good. It's embarrassing. And she's like, oh. And then she's like, oh. And she was really cool. She actually said to me, well, write out what you'd like to do instead and then let's look at it. She didn't say no, which was amazing because I had no experience in this industry, right? I was literally like, hi, here I am, fresh out of university, and I'd like to change your plans because I don't like them. And so, yeah, and that's pretty much been me my entire life, right? I've always had this energy of, oh, I can see a different possibility. I would like to create something different.
Yeah.
And so she was really cool because I went and wrote the plan and she looked at it and she says, yep, do that one. I was like, awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. And so really what I look at is that I see the world different, and I never really saw business through the same goggles that everyone else sees it. Like I could never understand why people were really serious about it. Like why it wasn't fun for them,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different things, but really with Business Alchemy, what I wanted to create was a way where people could start to, I guess, see inside my mind in terms of what I do know about this, because, for me, it's just so natural that I don't even realize that people don't know this, basically. So I've got really lots of plans for giving you information that will take business into a really different space.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. Because I was like, wow, wait, can I actually do this? Can I create
well,
better?
What if how you would, so this is the thing, because it's not about following my ways. It's literally about how getting to know what you know so that you can do it your way. And so this is where I look at business, and because people only get messed up when they try and follow how other people are doing it. The only times I didn't enjoy business was when I was trying to fit in with the rules or follow how other people were doing it. But when I just went with what I knew and what was natural to me, everything was always fun. So what if you would actually be willing to go, well, what if this is just an adventure in knowing what I know and discovering what I know that I didn't even know I knew? I know that sounds like a tongue twister, but it's actually what's probably going to happen as we go on this adventure.
Right. That's so great, because that lightens it up instead of like, uh-oh, am I going to fail or succeed? Should I do this or not? I had this whole seriousness about it. Like, is this really for me or not? I mean, it's...
Yeah, so cool. And that's so interesting, because you see, if you go to the adventure of creating with business, then there is no fail or succeed. There's just what's the next thing I'm going to play with.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what do you judge failing and succeeding on? Like, people have all sorts of points of view about what those things mean. And a lot of people, it's about the money. And I literally look at it, well, did it create more or not? did I learn something or not? Did I learn something that would enable me to create something even better in the future? And so I have a very different perspective on what failure and success is in business.
Cool. And the part that you talk about with bringing the energy of play into business, because I feel like I really know how to play. Like,
cool.
Yeah.
So
I play
what if you? So what if you would? So you do play with horses. So what if you would be way better at business if you played with it, just like you do with the horse? Because business actually, this is what's funny for me. It's like horses, business, going paddling on the river. It's all the same. It's not like, oh my God, they're three entirely different things and you have to be totally different with them. It's literally like, well, if you were just to tap into the energy of what each of them is and then go, well, what am I going to do here? What am I going to choose? What can I play with today? Like, do you do the same thing with your horses every day?
No, we don't do the same thing. I ask, I'm like, what would be fun today? What would contribute? What would,
So
I ask her.
Business is the same, actually.
That's so cool. Because it's so neat. I just, in the conversations that we've had before this, I, for the first time, saw, oh my gosh, I seriously compartmentalize it. Like, gotta do, responsible. Oh, I'm not doing enough. And then play.
So how much of that actually is judgment?
Like crap ton.
And like literally it's like how much of that is other people's points of view as well, because the thing is we see what business is out in the world, right? And there's this whole energy of it should be like this and it should be like that, and you've got to build your email list and you've got to do all these things, and it's all the gotta do's. And what I've found over the last 8 years is that really you don't have to do anything. I mean, if you want your business to grow, there are some things you're going to choose to do because that's what's going to allow it to grow. But there's nothing that you have to do. Like, when I first started business coaching, people said, well, you're going to have to go and cold call businesses. And I was like, no chance in hell. I don't like cold calling. I'm not going to be doing that. And, I had a great coaching practice and I never cold called anyone. 8 years later, I've never cold called anyone, right? Mm-hmm. So it's literally like if you took away all the gotta do's and just went to, well, what would I like to create? And what way can I get there that would be easy for me? Yeah. Because that's literally what we're going to play with in Business Alchemy. Like one of the things that I'm really looking forward to with it is actually giving people a lot of different ideas and possibilities. Because like one thing I do know is what a lot of the available choices are. And, and I've played with a lot of them to see, well, what do I like? And so this is literally the thing of, if you don't know what the choices are, you can't choose them. You know what I mean? And so what I'm looking at is actually opening it up so people have a much greater sense of their choices rather than going, there's only one way to get there and this is the way, which is what most people would teach. Yeah. I mean, that was the whole basic first blowing my mind apart with the radical creation call that you did. I was like, wait, just in little snippets of it, you were like, oh, well, we just created this and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my gosh, you actually, you are so different. I didn't even know it was a choice. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And for me, like a lot of what I've created over these last 8 years has been about 1,000 tiny choices. It's literally, well, this feels like fun. I'm going to try that and see where it leads. This feels like fun. I'm going to try that and see where that leads. And it's literally like being willing to try something and see where it leads. And then as it leads somewhere, go, okay, so that's opened up these other choices. And so what would I like to do with those now? Cool. It feels like energy of curiosity. Oh, very, very much. Then, yes. Is that another way of stepping out of judgment? Yes. Like if I'm just curious. Actually, yeah. Because if you're curious, you're not making it right or wrong. You're literally going, well, I wonder what this would be like. I wonder what that would be like. Oh, what if I tweak this here? What if I did that with it? And, because most people go, oh, this is how you do this. Here's the box. This is how you do it. And if you don't do it that way, it's wrong and it's not going to work. And my point of view is, well, that's how people say you do it. And what do I know about this? And how would I like to do it? Yeah. Wow, cool. And then I wonder, like, even get a sense of like, and then still being in the question, like, okay, cool. What did that create, or what? Like, still in the question of it. Because if it's like, well, this is the answer, this is the way, then we cut off
awareness
Yes.
of what's really going on. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. There's one thing that's really interesting about what you just said. Well, there's a lot of things, but there's one thing I really want to talk about. And that is that when people create things and it doesn't work out as a match to what their expectations were, most people would go, I got it wrong, it's a failure. I
Uh-huh.
don't do that. I go, wow, that's interesting. So what other information do I require here to make this work better?
Cool.
You
That's so
know,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, well, it can be information. It can be like, where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Like, I've had some of the weirdest things show up, like literally, whenever I have something where I go, well, it's not fun for me to do this, whatever this is, then I go, well, what else is there available here? What else can I actually be and do and create with this that is different to what's out there? And I don't necessarily have an answer when I ask that question, but what I do is I literally, it's like, for me, it's like a magnetic field. Literally, the thing that I need to know about comes to me. Excuse me.
Cool.
So it might be that, breathe the wrong way. So it might be that a piece of information comes. It might be that someone sends me a link to something. It might be that I have this random conversation with someone in the street. See, I will receive information for my business from absolutely everywhere.
Because in it, you're asking the questions.
Yeah. Well, I'm always curious, right?
You
Like I'm always like, well, what else
yeah.
is there? What else is
Yeah.
there that's beyond what exists? Because like
Huh.
anyone who's teaching you this is the way it works and that's how I've had my success in a really prescriptive way, they're not present with now. They're not here in this moment going, well, is this still going to work for the time and the energy we're in? Is this still going to work for the people who have a totally different set of skills to me? And this is why really what I get with Business Alchemy Lab is there's going to be this conversation that evolves and people are going to talk about what is working for them and different types of people will have different input. And so it's going to be this thing where we're very co-creative and collaborative in our ideas about how to move businesses forward. My sense is it's not about prescriptions. I mean, will I give some how-tos? Of course. But more from the point of view of, well, these are a whole lot of the choices that you've got. And what choices would you like to make to get started? Because as you choose, different things come into play,
Cool. That was one of my questions about, and I didn't know the words to choose. Like it was sort of like, what's going to be the pragmatic content? And this is going to be really funny.
Cool. Yeah.
So pragmatic versus like the energetic. And I was lumping all the like the questions and being in the question as the energetic, like.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I don't separate them actually. And in saying that, so when you look at the pragmatics, so for the first month, we're going to talk about turning your work into play. Now that covers a whole lot of things because that's looking at, well, what actually do you want to create as your business? Because a lot of people, and I did it too. The first time I created a business, I spent like a month creating it and then I launched it. And after a week, I was like, oh my God, I am so bored. I want to kill myself. I don't want to do this. What was I even thinking? Right. And so literally, I probably had 4 or 5 things like that in the beginning, which was just like, try something out. Oh my gosh, it's boring. No, I don't want to do that. But as I went through, I got faster and faster at realizing that, and I got to the point of asking, okay, is this going to be boring? So that I didn't have to keep actually doing the work.
Yeah, cool.
So what happens is with the pragmatic side of it is that I'm going to give you lots of questions that are going to basically give you the awareness of what it is you would like to choose. And so we'll start with the thing of turning work into play, because if your work is play, you'll be happy to do it every day. You won't be waiting for your weekend. You won't be going, oh my God, it's a long weekend. Thank God for that.
Right.
You'll literally be going, oh, cool. It's a play day. Every day's a play day. Right. So that's one of my targets with this. And then, of course, we will get into, so like in month 2, we're going to, and so month 1 will be all about looking at how you like to work, because a lot of people don't even know how they like to work. They literally think they have to do it a certain way. And so we're also going to get into, well, do you want a big business? Do you want a small business? Do you want, what do you think a big business is or a small business is? Because people have all sorts of ideas about what they are that actually aren't true. So we're going to unpack all that kind of stuff. so that you've actually got some sense of, well, if I was creating my business for me, this is the way I would like it to be. And that is very much, it is very pragmatic actually, because then you won't make choices that don't have a fit to actually what you would enjoy. And you'll find over time what you enjoy will change, okay? Like things I thought years ago I would never do, now I'm like, oh yeah, no problem, you know? But it took me a while to get to that point. So then in month 2, we're going to talk about how your stories create your future. Because for most people, what they created as a business has some relation to their life, to what they've actually created in their life. And so it's literally looking at that thing of, well, what are the stories that create your business? What are the messages that you want to put out into the world? So we'll have someone, for example, and so I mean, I'm also creating this as a very collaborative process. So I've got lots of guest people coming into month 2, where we might talk about, well, how do you use your stories in social media? How much information is too much? You know, all sorts of fun things like that.
Like, practical.
So, yes, it will be very practical, and it will contain the energy side, because I don't believe you can separate the two if you really want to run your business with ease. Like if you want to do it in a really logical way, this is probably not the place for you. But if you're really willing to keep creating, you know, kind of like Lego, really, I look at it, you just keep building things and they all sort of start fitting together, and all of a sudden you've got this whole, you know, adventure going on that looks quite different to what you started with. So I tend to create in a very organic way, and that's, you know, how we're going to go forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, cool. Oh my gosh. So,